without fear that, you know, either the team that I find myself in or my manager will give an impression that I'm saying a lot of hogwash. It is an environment that allows me a space to share ideas, share opinions, and contribute to the bigger discussion without fear, without feeling that people are not listening to me. And, you know, in an environment where we've gone virtual, most of the time we don't even see people on the screen. I just find that eye contact actually tells you a lot about whether the environment is safe enough, the behaviors that you observe when you speak. It also tells you a lot about whether you know, an environment you find yourself in allows you to speak whatever is on your mind without fear or favor.
Yes, yes, exactly what you said. It's right. We need to make a secure environment for people to feel safe. And once a person feels safe, it's a natural ability to trust. And obviously, with the trust instinct, you become more engrossed in your work. You're allowed to flow in your work environment and you're allowed to be yourself. So you're very right, Dolphy. Thank you for that.
Right.
Okay, so what is psychological safety at work? You are the original and you are one of a kind, and don't ever forget that. There's no one that can be you. So, as per Maslow's hierarchy, it's a basic human need. To support high performing teams, creating psychologically safe work environment is critical not only to the basic human decency but retention. So if we create a safe work environment for our staff, we know that if they are happy and they are performing, it also allows for the employer to retain its staff. Okay, so now we're going to do something that's a bit fun. It's called a Mentimeter. So if you could just take a few minutes to log on to the Mentimeter and use this code, or you can click on the link in the chat. Natasha will put it for you in the chat shortly. And then just do a little, just answer for us. Why is psychological safety important in the workplace? What are your thoughts on it? It'll take about 2 minutes.
Our smartphones enable us to do all this while we're online, right? So, yeah. Please just quickly go to menti.com and let's put that code and let's start responding. Short survey.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I think we can.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the thing I was
Jyoti, let's not stress. It's real, real time. I wanted to say when you open that whether we hear Hadidas or my son comes next to me and wants a hug, it is the times that we at.
Okay, so is that our feedback, Tasha? Okay, so looking at it, if we take the top 3, inspires creativity and ideas was 4.8, boosts team performance 4.5, and reduces employee turnover 4.3. Okay, so that's what you feel why psychological safety is important in the workplace. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Let's look at those points. Okay, so the top 3 was inspires creativity and ideas. And it's very true. In order for you to be inspired and to have your ideas flow within your team members, you need to feel safe. You need to ensure that you feel that you can express your ideas and not have it held against you. You also want your team members to acknowledge what you are saying and give you feedback so that you know where you're going right or where you're going wrong. Boost team performance. Yes, ultimately, when our staff feel safe, they become highly engaged employees and they don't want to leave. They want to be part of our culture that we create. They become ambassadors and they have ideas that always inspire other staff to follow through. So in the end, we have a winning recipe, and obviously, all the teams' performance goes to a higher curve. The last one was what was the last one, Tash? Reduces employee turnover. Thank you. So yes, with the pandemic and so forth, everyone has been scared and they didn't know how they're going to work. But obviously, they needed to feel safe in their environments. And by the employers going out and making sure that the staff felt needed and wanted and showed that they cared for them. So between leadership and employees, there was these tough discussions that took place. And they gave the employees the safety net. So it reduced the employee turnover. So, why are we building psychological safety in a hybrid workplace? Why do we need to relook at it now in a hybrid workplace? And the reason for this is because we have employees who are working remotely, and then we have employees that are working in the office. And both experiences are different. For the person who's sitting at home, they feel isolated. They feel that they don't have access to everything. They they're going through different levels of thoughts, and they're wondering, does leadership, do the people at the office remember them? And then the guys that are in the office, how do they feel about it? They feel the person at home has the flexibility to do what they want, and they have to still go according to the rules and regulations of the office. So there's a lot of dynamics that come across. And obviously, in order to make everyone feel safe and ensure that they feel secured, we needed to look at psychological safety again and ensure people that no matter what the dynamics of the situation is currently, whether you're working in the office or at home, you all are all part of one team, and the security needs to be developed. So, how could we do this more effectively to ensure that everyone feels as one? There's still one organization, one culture. So, we're taking away three tips on how to help your team effectively introduce psychological safety within your hybrid workplace. Point one, start small, send invitations. So this point was just basic to say if you were having a get together, what would you need to do? You would start off by sending invitations to let everyone know you're having a get together. So similarly, would leadership do the same? Leadership would let everyone know there's a gathering happening. And what they would do is they will build up some extra time into this meeting, allowing staff to give feedback on how are they feeling, where they are right now in this time and space. Give feedback, gain feedback, and obviously touch base with all employees, both in the office and out of the office, so that they feel that they're still part of that pack. The pack mentality still survives. Okay. Point two, transparency is key. This is of utmost importance. Leadership needs to ensure that they are open and honest with everyone of what is happening, where we are, how is the pandemic affecting the business, how is business changed going forward. Be open and honest. Also, ask the tough questions to your staff. Don't just expect them to sit there and not hear them out. Ask them for their questions and hear what they have to say. Sometimes getting feedback from your staff is very important because some of their questions are key questions that allow us to think what has leadership missed along the way. Okay. The last one is normalize psychological safety in the workplace. And by doing this, we're basically saying that we want everyone to feel safe, no matter where you are or what you do. You need to feel safe and you need to be yourself. So you can ask those questions. Even if you think it's a stupid question, don't hesitate, ask it, because this is a safe environment. Okay. Your team members will, the way they react to you, you'll see they'll be more welcoming, they'll be open-minded. Everyone is in a different frame of mind now. We have to ensure that people always feel safe and know that anything that they discuss is being heard. They don't feel that they are in the background, they're not being heard and they're not being seen. So let's normalize the safety in the workplace. Let everyone feel needed. So some of the things that we can ask our staff to do to make them feel normal, especially the guys that work at home, is get them to create chat rooms. So the office staff and the staff working at home have a place to mingle, to touch base and feel that they're still part of one another's lives. Get them to have meetings, just to have fun meetings to see what they can do and engage. And Zoom is very Zoom is a thing that everyone's using nowadays. So encourage them to use it. It creates team bonding. Okay. And then also from time to time when the staff are having these meetings, ask them to invite leadership. Leadership can do Q&As with them and ask them, or they can feel free to ask the leadership for direction, and leadership must be willing to participate in this. So basically what we're saying, by collaborating and with the curiosity, will create psychological safety.
Can I ask the audience a question?
Yes, please.
What have you guys implemented in your areas in terms of psychological safety since we've been like either working from home or few days in the office type of scenario? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Anyone?
Or how are they individually experiencing it as well?
Yeah.
Yes, Dolphy.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of organizational culture as a foundation of organizations that either do well or do not do well. And I think for as long as maybe I participate in these sessions, you're going to hear a lot about organizational culture from me. I just find that things like employee engagement, leadership, motivation, psychological engagement, are things that would automatically happen. And when I say would automatically happen, I mean in their heightened form, if the organizational culture allows such things to happen. And I'll give an example in terms that I'm not going to say which organization. I've worked for a number of organizations. When a person wants to share an idea or does share an idea, and they are very quickly put in a place where your idea does not matter, it doesn't say much about psychological safety or the psychological contract between people and organization, but it says a lot about organizational culture. So I find that this is a topic that we need to explore as a foundation of all these concepts and constructs that we are talking about. Having said that, I'll go to the question that you just asked. I just want us to just think of how organizational culture is a pillar of the HR issues we discuss. But when this virtual world of work started, and one of the things was we want to see people on camera. I think initially when it started, a lot of people were not on camera, and some people were attending meetings in pajamas, and some did not even wash. And I think you may have seen the video where there was a gentleman who was in bed attending doing a meeting, and I think he just forgot that his camera is on. It's like me without a wig today, but I consciously just took off my wig. So the one thing that we really need to take into consideration is how we show up in terms of talking to people. And I'll give you an example of how behaviors were monitored, that your eyes must forever be on the screen. You are not allowed, if you look somewhere else, then it means you are not engaging. People had to ask for permission to go to the bathroom, whereas when we were in meeting rooms, we would just walk outside and go to the bathroom. So there was a kind of behavior that actually said to us, with this pandemic, our psychological safety was becoming eroded. And it was becoming eroded as a result of lack of trust. We were not trusted that if you're not on camera, you are working. If you're working from home, you are working. You know, so there's certain behaviors that actually, for me, shook my psychological contract to an extent that with time, I felt like it was better being at home and not being in a job and not getting a salary at all. And I think that is one of the reasons why today I find myself without a job, but I couldn't be happier. So the trust issue is one, and I think, I don't remember whether it was Natasha or Jonty that have mentioned it. The trust issue is one of the foundations of psychological contracting. If you trust me enough that even when I'm not on camera, I'm listening, I'm engaging with the topic. We don't have to say to people, you have to be on camera. When a person looks the other way, it's like, why are you looking that way? You're not engaging. You know, these are things, you know, employees vote with their feet, like customers vote with their feet. If I feel like I'm not trusted, I'm not going to engage. And when I'm disengaged, I don't want to be here anymore. You know, just my 2 cents worth of my own personal experience in terms of where I was.
Thanks, Dolphy. That was very interesting. And yes, very true. Trust is very important in any relationship, and especially in the working environment. And like you've mentioned, this pandemic has thrown a big curveball. I had a similar experience myself where if they didn't see your face, you weren't working. Yet if you switched on your laptop by 7:45 and sat on your laptop till after 4:30, it was, no, we're not seeing productivity. You can't see my productivity because you're not in the same room as me. So I totally understand, and it's very right what you're saying, is that trust is very pertinent, and leadership obviously need to learn to trust themselves first before they trust their staff. Thanks for that feedback.
Sure.
Anybody else? Carl, James?
Hi, this is Judith. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I've had a completely different experience to what Dolphy has mentioned now, in that in our organization, when we ask people to switch on their cameras, it's not really out of lack of trust, but rather to try and make that connection with the individual on the other side. Because when you see a person, it says a whole lot more than when they got their camera off and when you ask them how they're doing and it's just a quick, I'm fine. Yet when you see them, especially if it's someone that you know, you can see that it's clearly they're not okay, something is wrong. And that would give you an opportunity to have perhaps an offsite conversation with them. So for us, switching cameras on, it's not really about lack of trust, but really to try and create that connection with the individual, especially those individuals. I mean, I work for a consulting firm and we've got youngsters that are at home. They may be feeling a bit lost, and so that was, it's something that even when I have individual meetings with them, I encourage them, let's have a conversation. I don't care if you're still in your pajamas. But let me see you. Let me see how you're actually doing, as opposed to just giving me a standard okay. But yeah. You're on mute, Natasha.
The culture issue coming out very strongly, hey?
Yes. It's really about the different cultures within the organization. And there's a saying that says, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And it's so true. So I always tell leaders that So if you do something that you think most probably is okay for you, just remember, if you're speaking to a subordinate, that becomes your culture. If you give feedback about someone else's performance, someone else, and you haven't given it to the individual, that becomes your culture, you know. And the same applies if a leader is not creating that safe space for people to engage and try to be open, um, then unfortunately that becomes your culture. And I agree with you. Sometimes it's just about connecting with someone on camera, because we all know we can do that. Thumbs up on Teams. I'm good. I'm okay. But meanwhile, you're really not okay.
Yeah. It's about setting the scene, hey? So you set the scene, and when you do ask someone to put up the camera, if you are online, or you're actually asking somebody, no, but you don't sound fine, because you've set the scene before, it's not a surprise to say, why does she want a video, a meeting with video? Or why is she asking about my child and whether I'm driving or not? You genuinely ask. Usually you genuinely interested and you connect with people. It is the way you lead your people. So yeah, it's like Jyoti said, they normalize it, and then it becomes the way things are done. Thank you for that, guys.
So it's so great that we receive feedback, because obviously, going on to my next slide, it's points on how leaders can help create psychological safety in the workplace. So the first one is make psychological safety an explicit priority. And this is leadership going and creating a safe environment, promoting the innovation, the team engagement, a sense of making everyone feel included, displaying the behaviors that they want to see in their environment, by showing empathy, listening to their staff effectively. Number two, facilitate everyone with speaking up. Encourage people to speak up. Encourage them to say whatever's on their mind. Not only have meetings to hear them, but wherever and whenever they need to be heard, they should be able to just pick up the phone or come to you in your office and speak to you. They need to understand that their thoughts and being heard, that they are important. They feel safe. This is a safe environment, and they can come and be themselves. Establish norms for how failure is handled. So don't punish a person if someone has failed. Encourage them. Tell them that they will learn from their failures. They will only grow and be stronger. Have team members support them and motivate them to carry on and to be stronger. So we learn from our mistakes, we learn, and with those lessons, we only grow in our day to day. Create a space for new ideas, even wild ones. Someone mentioned we have young folk working with us, and sometimes we don't want to hear them, but I think we need to, because we're working with the different generations, and we need to encourage everyone to give their ideas, because no idea is a stupid idea. Every idea should be welcomed. I think with ideas also, it allows people to learn how to embrace different ideas and open up their minds to listening to different ideas. So that comes to the last one: embrace productive conflict. By promoting our staff, by talking and so forth, we're promoting dialogue. We're promoting people to be open and debate about what they're discussing. And we will have conflicts, but how do we resolve these conflicts? And that's where we want to create the dialogue. We want people to talk, tell us their feelings, tell us what they want, how how they contribute to their teams. Leadership should encourage team leaders to communicate with leadership and with the employees, and find out how are they feeling and give feedback. Where staff are feeling, where they have reservations, they need to be able to share it, and it needs to be done in a respectful manner so everyone's cognizant of what's going on around them. How do we manage conflict? So we need to make norms. How do we encourage people to have this dialogue, but at the same time don't have conflict? Okay, so we need to embrace one another and ensure that whenever we talk, it becomes a productive debate. And very last, it's obviously what is for leadership also needs to be done with team members. So how can team members nurture psychological safety? In order for us to promote their dialogue and the debate, people need to ask powerful, open-ended questions and listen to what is being said, understand the feelings and values as well as the facts. Agree to share failures and recognize the mistakes and opportunity to learn and grow. Ask for help and freely give help when asked. Don't be shy. Embrace expertise amongst many versus the single hero mentality. And I think that that says that we should always look, don't think that I alone can do everything myself. We need to be part of teams. As being part of teams, we get to collaborate and be more productive. We get a bigger outcome at the end of the day. So when we encourage and express gratitude to everyone, we need to say, thank you for helping me. Thank you for assisting me. You know, it reinforces a sense of oneself when you say thank you to everyone. So in conclusion, psychological safety is truly present when our team members can be their most authentic selves. Leaders and employees alike need to remain curious in order to foster a hybrid work environment that challenges existing thinking without fear and negative consequences. Your hybrid workplace is already filled with brilliant minds, different opinions, and creative ideas that are ready to scale your company's innovation and growth. Now it's your time to give your employees a safe space to do just that. Guys, do you have any questions? I've been talking by myself all along.
I think Natasha is saying something, but she's on mute. As she unmutes, Jyoti,
there's one
there's a
point that I want
comment
to
there from Carl. Yeah.
There's a point that I want to raise that Jyoti actually mentioned is around the hero mentality. I was doing I was facilitating a conversation between a team and sort of coaching them through agile team collaboration that we have to do. And I was telling them about the scenario. So I'm a CrossFit member, the cult, as they would say. But the one thing that really amazed me about CrossFit is that when you walk in there on day one, you've never done CrossFit before. You must probably never even done exercise before. But you walk in there and they call you athlete. How? And then you're like,
brilliant.
I don't think so. But let's go with it. Let's go. And then they encourage you and support you, even if you don't even know, or you're trying to just figure out how to do the movements, how to actually understand the terminology. Oh, let's do a clean and jerk. You don't know what you're doing. You've never done a clean and jerk. And these people are like, come on, athlete, you can do it. You're amazing. Just lift that bar, even if it's an empty bar. And I was telling the team, but when we walk into corporate, it's like, no, let's first check you out. You walk in with all your credentials, you walk in with all your competencies, you've got the capabilities, they hire you for a specific reason. But then you walked in there, in the interview, they said, oh, you need to be innovative. We want that innovation. You need to be like a thought leader. You walk into the organization, day one, it's all great. Induction is good. Day 77, you have been placed in a box because now they don't want you to think out of the box. They want you to think inside the specific box that they have formed you in. And then they don't want you to be a thought leader anymore. You need to think like the normal people. And what the team does is like everybody's trying to take everyone out. Nobody is there like, let's support one another. Let's be like CrossFit people. Let's build this culture type of scenario. That's just my 2 cents worth. Carl, I see you've got your hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jyoti. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
You've also triggered something in my mind, what I see that organizations do to create this environment of safety. And I'd just like to mention 3 that I've seen lately organizations do. They're giving people extra leave, extra long weekends, extra, which people never got 2 years ago. In fact, if you wanted to go and cut your hair, you had to put in a half day's leave. They send gifts from the organization to people at their homes, thanking them. The one organization I encountered a while ago, the CEO sent out an email to everybody to come and fetch their office chairs and take them home. They now belong to them. All of that gives you a sense of security that they're caring about us. And another organization looking after the children at home, meaning extra apps, extra data, extra things like that. So that can also come from the organization itself in total to everybody who's working, let's call it, in this hybrid. And that's paying off dividends everywhere. Just thought I'll put that little bit in.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. That's beautiful. I know of an organization that actually put a twist. So they said, look at the office as a chill space. So everyone's at home, they're going mad. Obviously, the stress is tenfold because now you're not only dealing with with yourself or your colleagues, you're dealing with your kids and eating and all these unnecessary add-ons. So they did a twist and said, okay, you need to get away. So use the office as a chill space. So when you come into the office, you're not actually just coming into work, but you're actually using it as a getaway zone to be yourself, to look after yourself, to give time for yourself. So yes, organizations are becoming very innovative right now. Any other questions? Okay. So from here, the last slide is just the contact information for us 4 ladies. If you want to take down any information, please feel free. Or you can contact Natasha or Iris if you do know of them and they can share the information as well. It's just our 4 different companies and the services we provide. And you can catch us on the various forums, social media. And then in closing, guys, ladies, gents, thank you very much for your time. I hope you've taken something back. And when you chat with your team members or your leaders or whoever, listen, show that you care, and let everyone feel safe. This pandemic has torn us apart. So let's be there for everyone and let's have a little heart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Enjoy your
Bye.
Everyone.
evening.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adidas are also saying bye.
That's a good idea. Good feedback.
Yeah.
Really nice feedback. If we are potential causes, it follows a lot.
We've still got one person on.
And I'm sure she forgot to disconnect. Judith? I'm sure she's moved on to. Oh no, James.
Is it James?
She had two, I think he had 2 things on.
Oh, there they go.
There we go. Oh, this was great, guys.
Well done, Jyoti. Why were you nervous? Oh, let me
Because I was born nervous.
Let me just stop this, né? Stop recording. Stop